and welcome to the Monday night webinar. My name is Gabe Pearson. Just want to thank each and every one of you for being on tonight. What an incredible way to build a business is we can do it through the advent of the internet and touch people all over this country, being in the confines of your own home. My story is very, very simple. Just like anyone else, I had a passion for something in life that I thought that I would be doing for the rest of my life. I actually spent 30 plus years in the fitness business. My aspirations were to own health clubs all over this country and literally make millions and millions and millions of dollars. Well, fast forward 20 years, I own 3 here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm certainly not complaining, but I think I was a little bit wiser 20 years into it. I started to realize that I was creating millionaires, and I wasn't one of them. I didn't own the property that the gyms are on. All the real estate guys made all the money. I didn't own the finance company, made those guys hundreds of millions of dollars in those 20 years, and I didn't own the leasing company. So I wised up, got out of the health club business, started my own personal training company, quickly morphed into a wellness company, and everything was it was the American dream for about 7 years. And then what happened to this country in 2009? Just got the living daylights kicked out of us. We lost 3 6-figure contracts in literally 30 days. It brought us to our knees. But you know what? God has plans for each and every one of us. My universe opened when those health club, when my wellness company lost those contracts. I was asked to be a keynote speaker. I went up to Atlanta, Georgia, just to retool, try to drum up new business. And of all people, a complete stranger walks up to me after my keynote, had the courage to walk up to me and ask me if I've ever heard of a product called Protandim. Well, if there wasn't 8 to 10 people waiting in line to speak to me behind her, I probably would have turned around and walked away from her. At that moment, I wasn't interested in a product. I was trying to save my home and keep our kids in private school. But the next thing came out of that lady's mouth retired me from the fitness business 22 months later. And in this month, in 29 days, it would be 7 years ago. So tonight, we have an incredible opportunity webinar that we want to share with each and every one of you that has changed thousands and thousands of lives. Tonight, I have a special guest. She's near and dear to me in my family. I've known her since high school. She's an award-winning journalist. She was our beloved news anchor here in Jacksonville, Florida for 29 years. She's an American author of 2 memoirs, The Good Fight Through Rose-Colored Glasses, and A Marathon from Fear to Love. She is a philanthropist, a marathoner. She is the founder and president of the Donna Foundation, a nonprofit that raises funds to assist breast cancer patients with critical financial needs. And lastly, she's on LifeVantage's Field Advisory Board, and she has reached the Elite Pro 9 rank, which does $500,000 a month in revenues. Please welcome Elite Pro 9 Donna Degen to the webinar tonight. Donna, how are you?
I am fantastic, Gabe. How are you?
Good. That was a mouthful for me.
Well, way too much and no need.
No, are you kidding me? I didn't do enough.
No, listen, I appreciate it. I think my biggest claim to fame is probably the fact that I've survived breast cancer 3 times, honestly. And I don't take a day of my life for granted, as you know. So I'm one of those people that, I didn't believe in stuff like this. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I didn't think supplements, I don't even hate to even call this a supplement. But I didn't believe in any of that. I was one of those people that was very skeptical. Think about what I did for 30 years. I was an investigative reporter, news anchor. But there's something about getting cancer 3 times that can humble you real quick. And I really started to look around for things. I wasn't looking for a cure for cancer. That wasn't my goal. And we should say at the onset here that what we're talking about tonight are natural products that are not intended to cure, prevent, or mitigate any disease. What I was looking for was a way to make myself healthier and less susceptible to things. And I really came across LifeVantage by accident. I was watching an ABC News investigation that was It was really one of those things that blew me away, to be perfectly honest, because I've never seen anything like it. Usually when an investigative news team goes in to do a story on a supplement, it doesn't turn out well for the company. And in this case, it turned out that it was a validation of a product that led to, and it's continuing. I say led to. I'm just going to show you a handful. You see this? You see this whole book? This big, huge book? This is a book of peer-reviewed, published studies that are published in the National Institutes of Health website. And I bring that up. I love to haul that book around because it's really what I consider so much validation. And it started with that ABC News report. They basically validated the first study that was done on a product called Protandim and a process called NRF2 activation. And when I finished watching that program, and I'm going to get into that in a minute, but when I finished watching that program, man, I was blown away because what it basically showed was that for the first time ever, we had a technology that could actually reduce the major driver of aging and disease. We'd never had that before. This is still what we have. And it's clinically proven and peer-reviewed, which means independently evaluated research from dozens of research institutions. And I think the big knock that I always felt there was about supplements was that there's no research, right? And that's what you still hear today. And 9/10 of the articles you see out there published on supplements, there's no research. You know, there's nothing to prove they work. Well, you know, a big old heavy book full of dozens of peer-reviewed studies is pretty good start. So I'll talk to you about why I thought that was a big deal, because to me, if you don't have research, you know, what you have is anecdotal stories. And while they may be fantastic, that's not proof to anybody. So, so we have something that nobody else has with LifeVantage in terms of peer-reviewed research. And as for me, I just thought, gosh, if I can put something in my mouth that is clinically proven to reduce the major driver of aging and disease by an average of 40%, and that was the cell, that was the initial research that was done and confirmed. Why would I not do that? And so I started taking the product back when they used to sell it in the health food stores, before there was ever a LifeVantage opportunity, and fell in love with it. It felt like it cut my brain fog, felt like I got all my energy back. I was sleeping like crazy. I felt like it was just like somebody gave me almost my personality back, because I had just been beaten so far down with all the things that my body had been through. And before I knew it, it was gone from the shelves. So it wasn't until 5 years later that this guy over here calls me one day and says, hey, I'm bringing a new company to Florida, and it's a company that's got a breakthrough product, something you really want to hear about for your health, but I'd love for you to look at being part of my team, because this is going to be huge. And I thought, wow, you know, what he didn't know was by that point, I'd been diagnosed with cancer a third time. That was my third diagnosis. I was desperate to change my very stressful life. It was 24/7 craziness of murder and mayhem, reporting bad news all day long. As much as I love journalism, that became a grind, especially in that economy Gabe was talking about. I mean, it was crazy. We were all working crazy hours and making less money. And so I was really open, and thank goodness I was. And I said, gosh, I already am in love with this product. Once I found out he was talking about the same product I was already in love with, which was insane, right? That was my sign from God. This is what I'm supposed to be talking about. And so I went home and I told my husband, I said, look, the worst thing that's going to happen here is that, you know, I'm not going to make any money, and we're all going to get a whole lot healthier. And as it turned out, you know, it was really a great blessing for us, because we were able to share something, or I was able to share something that was truly what I then consider and still consider life-changing for people, even more so now than back then, because not only is there more science, but there are more products, which we'll get into. But honestly, it was an opportunity to have financial freedom and to have time freedom to do the things I wanted to do, like spend time with my foundation or be with my kids, or all those million things that go through your head when you survive cancer and you wonder how long you're going to be on this planet. And you feel like you just want to take advantage of every second. And that's really what LifeVantage gave me. Not only did it make me healthier and continues to make me healthier, but it gave me a huge change in lifestyle. So I want to get into a little bit of the science here, because I do think that's really, really important for you to understand the difference between what LifeVantage has and just the scores and scores of other things that you hear all day long. And hopefully you got the first one. It's research, right? Research is a big deal. But what our product does is the only line of defense that we've had against cellular aging, or what science calls oxidative stress, which is that driver of aging and disease, has been antioxidant-rich foods and vitamins, right? But what they don't tell you in the antioxidant commercials is that those aren't powerful enough to reduce free radical damage, because you're making too many free radicals for them to eradicate, because they only kill one free radical at a time. One molecule you consume kills one free radical. They bind, they're gone. Your body's making hundreds of millions of free radicals every day. So say your average bowl of blueberries has about 900 antioxidant molecules in it. You're killing 900 free radicals. That sounds good. Until you realize, well, goodness, I'm making hundreds of millions, so I'm not even making a dent in the dent with that. So taking your antioxidants is not the way to go. They're wonderful for vitamins and minerals, not knocking antioxidant-rich foods. But as far as reducing free radical damage or oxidative stress, that rusting and aging of the cells that happens simply because we breathe and eat and all the things that we do because we're alive, not powerful enough. So what LifeVantage came up with is, instead of taking your antioxidants, they determined a way to make them within our bodies. So what they did is they activated a part of the DNA that upregulated antioxidant enzymes. So instead of killing free radicals one at a time, one of your enzymes kills 1 million free radicals per second. We'd never been able to do that before. So you go from a paradigm where you're killing one free radical at a time and not making any progress, to where you're killing 1 million per second for 11 straight days. That is I mean, honest to goodness, you guys, if we didn't have the rest of this whole big old book of studies, I'd be taking this product based on the very first study that showed a 40% reduction in that harmful oxidative stress, rusting of the cells that reduces the aging process, 40% by average in everybody that takes it. That is a big deal. And that is why you had dozens of research institutions like the American Heart Association and Ohio State and Harvard and dozens more come to this company, LSU, and say, we want to do research on heart disease and on muscular diseases, on cancer, on you name it. They've done so much research on this stuff. And the reason is because they wanted to find out, gosh, if we can take out 40% of that process, what does that mean for these things that we're researching? So this is all really exciting stuff. And what I loved about it, and still love today, is it's all natural. It's all plant-based. So really, you're putting plants in your body. And what's happening is they're putting those plants together synergistically. And synergistically, they become a completely different chemistry equation, which goes in and activates something called NRF2. If you go on to pubmed.gov, which is your National Institutes of Health website, you're going to find a couple dozen peer-reviewed published studies on Protandim. Put Protandim is the name of the product in the search bar, and you're going to find a couple dozen studies. If you put oxidative stress in that search bar, you're going to find hundreds of thousands of studies. What you're seeing right here on Gabe's slide, this is the synergy we're talking about. You put green tea, turmeric, milk thistle, ashwagandha, and bacopa together in this chemistry equation, and that's what activates NRF2. So they're 1,800% more powerful together in this equation than they would be if you took them separately. That's what activates that part of the DNA. So you're literally giving back to your cells the opportunity to create the enzymes and the number of enzymes you made when you were young and healthy. And so that's really the big deal. You're looking here at the patents that we have on the product. This is not something you should take for granted. We have all these patents on Protandim. It's very difficult to get patents. You can't get patents without proof of performance. So this is a very big deal to have the patents that we have on Protandim NRF2. So what you're doing is, I want you to think of your cells as the engines that run your body, right? And as those engines run, off of those engines comes exhaust, and that exhaust is free radicals. And those free radicals come back and they damage or rust that engine, right? And as that engine rusts, it slows down and it starts to sputter. That's the aging process, okay? So what you're really doing with your Protandim NRF2 is you're bringing in this cellular vacuum cleaner to suck up a bunch of that exhaust before it can rust your cells. So you're truly dialing back the aging process. And what that means is if you're slowing the aging process, you're slowing everything that comes as a result of the aging process. That's a pretty big deal because we're going to live longer. You know, the people that are born now especially are going to live longer, but those of us who are, you know, approaching more and more wisdom every day, right? We'd like to be able to remember what our names are, right? When we're older, we'd like to be able to feel like we're healthy and can take care of ourselves. And that's really what this is about. This is about aging more healthfully, to be able to turn up your good genes and turn down those that do you harm. And that's what NRF2 activation is. And the company, based on some wonderful studies that were done at LSU on skin cancer, actually came and created a topical version of this as well. So we not only have NRF2 in a pill form, we also have it in a form to put on your skin, which goes all the way to the deepest layers of your skin and heals your skin from underneath. And we also have NRF2 activation for dogs. You know, it's funny because people go, dogs? Well, I give my dog his NRF2 pill every day, which we call Pet Tandem, which is simply a chewable version of Protandim. But people were giving their dogs this product and they were having amazing results with their inflammatory issues. So they said, hey, you know, let's make a chewable for dogs. Double-blind study done on that as well. These are all things you can research and look up, because what's great is once the studies are there, they're there for you to access. So you can go to pubmed.gov and look at the Protandim studies, look at oxidative stress studies. You can also even look up NRF2 activation. Drug companies are working feverishly to try to put together NRF2 activating drugs. In fact, there was an article that came out. Was it an article that came out today? I'm trying to remember where I saw that. We're looking at NRF2 as a way to try to address, as a drug to try to address disease state. Well, you know, there are a couple of NRF2 activating drugs out there now, and they have some pretty harmful side effects. What we have is something that's all natural, that does something pretty miraculous, and that's get rid of 40% of oxidative stress load. But the company didn't stop with NRF2 activation, and that's what's really exciting. They continued down the path of cellular healing. Okay, so what you're looking at now is what we call our vitality stack. I'm so excited about this because while I absolutely adore NRF2 activation and feel like it's done so much for me, I thought, well, what about the rest of, we call these products, you see these 4 products here, we call them the core 4 because they're the core 4 products for cellular health. We talked about the engine, right? Talked about Protandim NRF2 getting rid of the exhaust. Well, what Protandim NRF1 does is it revs the engine. The engine is your mitochondria. Your mitochondria are your cellular energy. They protect your organs. They protect your muscle function. I mean, your mitochondria really provide the energy for all of your cells to do all of the cellular functions that run your body. And as we age, just like everything else, we make less and they get weaker. Protandim NRF1, another combination of all natural ingredients, provides sort of that 1-2 punch where now you've got something for the engine and you've got something for the exhaust. And your other 2 pieces here are really products that you may have heard of versions of, but LifeVantage just took them and said, you know what? People need omega fatty acids. They need probiotics, but the ones that are on the market right now are just not good enough, and we need to make them better. So what they did is they took an omega product that is omega-3s and 7s. These are harvested fresh every single day, and you can actually track from boat to bottle where your pills are coming from. They're purified. They don't taste like, you know, rancid fish oil because they're not. They have lemon and lime oil in them, and they also have vitamin D3, which is incredibly important for cellular protection. My doctor told me that years ago before I ever even heard about Protandim. Take vitamin D3, it's very important. And a lot of people don't know that. They feel like if they get out in the sun enough, they don't need that, but you do, because as you age, your body absorbs less and less of what the sun can give you. So, and a lot of us don't like to spend a lot of time in the sun. So omega products are incredibly important for your heart. And they're also important for your skin and other muscle functions. And then you have Physique, which is our ProBio as part of a whole weight management line that we have. But Physique ProBio is a great twist on probiotics. I'm going to show you, because I want to show you what it actually looks like. Gabe, if you can make me big again. Or you can, because you can't see in those little, maybe you can see right here. See it in the very middle. You got those little round pills. I don't know if you guys can see those little round pills. They made them round, and they put something called BioTrack technology in them. I'll show you again. So this is your core 4. Okay, you've got your Protandim, little yellow pill right here, Nerf 1. I mean, sorry, Nerf 2, Nerf 1 here. This is what we call our Vitality Stack packets, which I absolutely adore. This is your daily regimen. This is your omega-3s with your vitamin D3 included. So that cuts out on one product that you have to buy additionally with vitamin D3. And then here is your probiotic. And so what they've done is they've made them spherical, which helps with the BioTrack technology to get them through the stomach acid all the way to the gut to populate the gut with healthy bacteria. And if we don't have a healthy gut, guys, we don't have a healthy brain, we don't have a healthy immune system, and frankly, it's tough to maintain a healthy weight without a healthy gut. So what we've learned is that while 96% of most probiotics burn up in the stomach acid before they get to the gut, our probiotic actually gets 65% of the good stuff that populates your gut with healthy bacteria to where it needs to go. And so people have said, gosh, I just feel that they feel like they don't have bloating. They feel like their weight loss is easier. They feel like their brain function is better. People report all sorts of wonderful effects from taking the ProBio. And again, that's just one of an additional entire weight management system that includes a cleanse, a fat burn, and a protein powder. I want to get into one more thing, and then Gabe, I'll get it back to you because I've probably talked too long. But I want to talk a little bit about Axio because I think it's so important. Axio is actually slightly Nerf2 activating, I found out. I didn't realize that at first. But Axio is what I call brain food. It's B vitamins, it's quercetin, it is all sorts of things that help to focus your magnesium, helps to focus your brain. These are all things that are great. There's one without caffeine, one with a little bit of caffeine. I take these every single day in the afternoon to give me that little pick-me-up. But it's also just, I have never been, every year I get my vitamin levels taken. I've never been deficient in B vitamins since I started taking these, which are fantastic. And those really help with cellular health and focus as well. So those are the major things. I know I went through it fast, but the most important thing is your core 4. That's truly the most important products that you have. The Vitality Stack is something that I take every single day. That's what it looks like when you order it in those packets. You can also order it in the bottles that Gabe was talking about. But man, you put those 4 products together, and gosh, the whole package is only $150. Think about what you would pay usually if you bought all that stuff individually, and you get them in those little packets that show you exactly how much to take, and it's perfect. So I love the way the company's going. Everything is steeped in research. All this stuff is patented. We have the ability with LifeVantage, Gabe, and I know you agree with this, to offer people life-changing technology for their health, and then a life-changing opportunity that will allow them to grow a business if they have an entrepreneurial spirit and want to actually create a business from LifeVantage that can change their lives as much on the other end as it does on the health end.
I mean, it's the best opportunity that I've ever been a part of. And folks, you're looking at this slide right here. This is the actual picture of our corporate headquarters in Sandy, Utah, which is just outside of Salt Lake City. Donna, you do such an incredible job. I've got this recorded, everyone who's on this webinar, so we'll put it up on Connect and Impact today, our website. You do such an incredible job just threading the 4 products together, especially the activators. And folks, for those of you that are on this webinar for the very first time, I promise you, you don't have these products in your kitchen cabinet. Take the time to research the difference between supplementation, which by the way is a question mark, and activation, which is what Donna just showed you, is peer-reviewed science. We unequivocally know what it's going to do when it goes in your body. Everything else, if it's supplements, it's a question mark. So everything is moving in that direction. And what these products do in the most simplistic explanation is getting your own body to do its own work. What your body was meant to do for the first 20 years of life. And that's make more good guys. That's it. It's that simple. Yeah,
that's really all you needed to say right there. Yeah,
exactly. The reason why you need to take the product and everybody you love and care for is what Donna said over and over and over, is because we breathe oxygen. You know, we eat food. You know, we're out in the sun. You know, we are around pollution and chemicals. And that's how and why we age, and how it's a major contributing factor of how and why we get diseases. So all you know, these products do is just slows down that aging and diseasing process, like Donna said. Donna, thank you so much. I'm going to now get into the opportunity side. Folks, there's an opportunity for you and your family. You know, if you have been put on this earth like Donna was, you know, to help people, I tell you what, you really want to pay attention to the next 10, 15 minutes. If you like having fun, you know, pay attention, because that's all we do is have fun. And if you like making a little bit of money, it's the perfect trifecta, in my opinion. I love the fact that the company, you know, has strong leadership. The man who's behind the helm, his name is Darren Jensen. Please look him up. He has 26 years of experience in this industry. There's only been 13 companies ever reached $1 billion in annual revenues, and he has been part of 2 of them. Now he has his own gig, and it's taken him a while to turn this big old ship and move it in the right direction. When Donna and I started, it was a $40 a month product. We built a multi-million-dollar business on a $40 a month product. Think about that. Now what we didn't even know what we were doing, right? Now we have a lot of help. The Axio that Donna was talking about, it's an all-natural nootropic. It's brain food, folks. No ifs, ands, or buts. I even have a hard time calling it an energy drink because it doesn't do enough justice. So look up those ingredients, and it does have Nerf2 capability as well. I love the fact that we have, you know, this core 4, the vitality stack that Donna just explained to you. And that just helps build your business so much faster than what Donna and I had. So I love the fact that the company is an international company. When Donna and I started, it was only here in the United States. You know, we actually only had a few studies, and I believe 1, maybe 2 patents. You know, today there's a couple of dozen studies, and we have 14 patents, and it's moving in that direction. So when Donna and I started this, you know, this business, we just had to understand what oxidative stress was. That was about that was it. You know, the main biochemical effect of aging, right? But a few years later, we enter the activation of a pathway called NRF2. Whoa. You know, then a couple of years later, you know, we're looking at, you know, nutrigenomics, you know, the research of how nutrients and natural compounds affect our genes. And then today it's all about biohacking the aging code. And the definition I wrote down was using science and technology to become the absolute best version of yourself. And that's what Donna was talking about, that core 4. You ever walked into a GNC store or a vitamin shop and you see all these shelves full of products and you're like scratching your head and like, my God, you know, I just want to be able to take something that covers everything from head to toe. Folks, Donna just told you what it is. You can just check that off the bucket list now, take those 4 products and just move in another direction, because that's what the company has done. So what I want all of you to know, this company's publicly traded. So that was one of the things that really attracted Donna and I to the company, because it's transparent. Nobody can embellish anything. Everything that came out of her mouth tonight, you know, there's no embellishment, because you can look it up. Everything that's coming out of my mouth, you know, I can't embellish, and we love that, you know. So so it brings so much credibility, you know, to what the company stands for and the direction it's moving in. So if you go to Yahoo Finance and type in our stock symbol, you're going to find that the company, you know, is projected to be in 100 markets. Folks, we're only in 10 right now from a business standpoint on the distributor side, and we're in 17 markets from a consumer side. In other words, for you, if you're looking for an opportunity, there's nowhere to go but grow. I mean, the company is, its main mission is taking this company to $1 billion. So Don and I witnessed, firsthand, this company grow from 3 million in sales to just a little over 200 million, with primarily a $40 a month product. Then we introduced the anti-aging cream. We didn't have the regimen that Donna was talking about. Now, what Darren Jensen has done is move this company from what we used to call a Nerf 2 company to a nutrigenomic company. And what's really interesting, folks, just a few months ago, Wall Street just came out and said that nutrigenomics is going to be a $600 billion industry by the year 2020. Folks, that's right around the corner. And we are the foremost leading authority in that space of nutrigenomics. So from an opportunity standpoint, it's extremely, extremely exciting. And if you want to do what Don and I did, if you haven't watched that ABC Primetime News piece, watch it after this webinar. All we did together was point, guide, direct people to that video. And by the way, today we have a lot other videos you can point to. And then we just put them on the phone with somebody a lot smarter than her and I. And it got us to the top of the company. She walked away from a 29-year career in 11 months. And I tell you what, folks, that's extremely, extremely impressive. But more importantly, what we're trying to press upon you, it's the way that we get paid. And that's what I want to talk about right now. I mean, Donna was on a salary, and in 2008, 9, and 10, and maybe even probably creeping towards 11, because she was on a salary, she was being paid for 40 hours a week, right? That's what her salary consists of. Well, in those years when everything was really lean, they had to let go a lot of people. She was working 9, 10, 11 hours a day, doing other people's jobs, but still getting paid, for 40 hours a week at 8 hours a day, right? So, she was trading time for money. That's what I did. I was a fitness trainer for 30 plus years. If I trained Donna in the gym this morning, I'm unemployed until I train her again or I train somebody else. That's called linear income, trading time for money. What we were able to learn how to do while we were still being paid, or still trading time for money, we basically use this as a side gig, what we call a side hustle. Now we do something one time and we get paid month after month after month. So Donna's been involved in this business about 7 years. She's still getting paid what she did on that first year, 7 years ago. She still gets paid today. So in other words, a little analogy would be if you work today, if you worked your 8 hours today and you go to work tomorrow, it'd be something like this. Your boss looks at you with this funny look on his or her face and says, Donna, what are you doing? Why are you here today? Hey, boss, I'm coming to work. I want to get paid. Well, we're going to pay you today what you did yesterday. How fast would you leave the building? Now multiply that by 7 years. That's how you grow a business exponentially. So we together have been working with an incredible team, and we have been able to retire 24 families in the last 4.5 years. So just think about that for a second, folks. I don't know too many, employees that retire early, right? You have to leverage your time. So when Donna goes to sleep tonight, when I go to sleep tonight, because we've reached a certain rank, and this is what I want all of you to really pay close attention to, she's getting paid while she sleeps. She's making money in Japan. She's making money in Hong Kong. She's making money in Australia. She's making money in Thailand. And we just opened up Taiwan last week. So her meter's running 24 hours a day now, 7 days a week. Because when she wakes up tomorrow morning, she makes money in this hemisphere. The United States, Mexico, Canada, Germany, United Kingdom, and the Netherlands. So imagine that, folks. So if you are above your pay grade, all right, if you're not getting paid what you're worth, but the vehicle that you chose to get in, whether it's a school teacher or fireman, a news anchor or fitness, professional, think about that. You can actually spend a few hours a week, start another stream of income, diversify. And if you do this business right, like Donna did and I did, we're just, folks, listen to me. We're just teachable and coachable. We asked a lot of questions. We didn't ask why. We just went out and did it. And now we've generated an annuity that pays us on the 15th of every single month. And we're getting paid what we did when we started this business. So I want you to be thinking about the difference between trading time for money, right? Or doing something one time and getting paid month after month after month. And if you're at the age of Donna and myself, probably a word that kind of, is in the back of your mind 24/7 is the word retirement. And if you are a little bit behind on where you should be, if you're a baby boomer or above, this is a perfect side hustle to catch up or exceed where you're supposed to be at the age that you are right now. So think about that. We've been able to help 24 people retire in the last 4.5 years because of the way that we get paid. And most people, they trade time for money, right? And most people would love to build their own, dream, but just don't have the funds, the means to be able to go out and spend thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, with your own company. So what I love about this industry, anybody from all walks of life can start this business. You don't have to have a Wharton, business degree. You don't have to be a news anchor or fitness professional, have all this education behind you. You can be anyone. And if you're just teachable and coachable, look what it costs to start your own distribution company. You can get started for as low as $350. Think about that. 50 of it is what we call a starter kit. It's your business in a box. And then you buy product. And Donna said if she didn't do anything with this, she just became healthier, right? So you're buying $300 worth of product. And if you come in at that level, it's about dollar for dollar. Look at the value. It's about a dollar for dollar value. If you want to get a little bit better value than the $350, you can come in at the $650. You're buying $600 worth of product. You're going to buy it at 25% below wholesale, which you buy the product at the $350 at 20% below wholesale. And then look at the value. The value is a little bit more than $1, right? And the volume, you build your business quicker. Now, Donna and I, we came in on the platinum pack. We simply asked why, what pack should we come in with? And our mentors just said, listen, if you want to make the most amount of money for the least amount of work, that's the pack that you want to come in with. Because what we now learn today, when people, do their due diligence, and that's what people do today, and really understand the enormity that all they have to do is point, guide, direct to a ABC primetime news piece. Now imagine you own your own business. What if ABC News comes knocking on your door and says, hey, listen, we've been hearing nothing but great things about your business. We'd like to do a positive spin on it. Would it help you build it? Folks, that's what we have. Think of it like that, right? Just point, guide, direct, And then on top of having the advertisement or commercial with the credibility of ABC News, what if there's no competition? So what if Donna was the only news anchor in the world? All right. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Well, she would probably be pulling her hair out because she can't get all the news out because she's doing everything herself. But that's what we have, folks. We have no competition. Think about the business that you're in, and there's no competition. That's why we got excited. This is a new paradigm in health that we have the privilege of pioneering called nutrigenomics. So we came in on that pack right there because it's the better value, but more importantly, when people do their due diligence, they're going to ask us how we came in. So you're creating the right behavior from day one. And you can look at the value on that pack. And imagine this for a second. Owning your own distribution company, you're actually Mr. Starbucks, not a franchisee, for $1,250, right? So that's the business of network marketing. It's for everyone. And as Donna eloquently says all the time, basically what this business does is removes the brick and mortar from the equation. The three questions that I had, what I mean by brick and mortar is the cost of doing business, right? The three questions that I had was, how much does it cost to get started? You get a kit and then you pick where you fit in, right? So if you think $350 is your fit or $650, just pick where you fit in. The compensation plan is the same no matter where you come in. The second question I had, because I own 3 health clubs, I mean, it cost me, $50,000 to operate before I made 1 red cent. So my second question was, what's the cost of doing business? And when they said $200, I said, no, you don't understand what I'm saying. Your fixed cost, on your balance sheet, you have a fixed cost, the cost of doing business. How much does it cost? $200. And then when they told me that I could mitigate or reduce that 200 as low as 40, I'm scratching my head. You know what I said? I'm a smart aleck. I said, well, give me 5 of them, because my payroll for my wellness company was just $50,000 a month, and that didn't count anything else. So think about that. And then, the last question was, how do I get my investment back? And it's simple as getting 3 of your friends, people that you want to travel with, have fun with, and make money with, partner up with, and have some fun. So you enroll 3 people, you're in for free. We don't teach that, we teach 5, but it's as simple as that. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about, there's 8 ways of being paid, and just get with the person who, introduced you to this webinar tonight, that's just so anxious, and wants you to understand the enormity of what we have, whether it's from a physiological standpoint, that might be the only reason why you're on, or a financial standpoint. And I think when you start to understand that for every dollar that goes to this company, they pay out 48 cents. Now, if you're in the sales world, and let's say, for example, if you sell cars, you sell makeup, you sell tractors, you sell refrigerators, whatever it is, what if you got 48 cents on what you sold? It just doesn't happen, folks, because it removes the brick and mortar from the equation. So there's no middlemen, and we get paid so much more. And then once you get that subscription check is what we call, you get paid again and again and again. So there's 8 different ways of getting paid. What I want to focus on tonight is the worldwide revenues. All right. Always remember this, folks. Profits are better than wages. I owned Health Club for 20 years. And at the end of each December, that was the end of my fiscal year, there were no profits at the end of the year, right? I mean, the brick and mortar swallowed them, okay? And when we found out that we could actually, profit in worldwide revenues with this publicly traded company that's projected to be in 100 markets, I mean, my wife and I we couldn't sleep that night. We got to make sure this is what they just said. This is true. Well, folks, I tell you what, it's phenomenal. What the company does is they take 4% of worldwide revenues and they set them aside, and they just divide it in 4 quadrants. Now, there are 10 levels to this compensation plan. And when you hit the 7th level, you start sharing in 1% of worldwide revenues. And folks, let me just tell you something. It sounds a lot bigger than what it actually is, because right now we're in 17 markets. 7 of those markets just opened up 6 weeks ago. So it's really not a market yet. There's not enough coming in, right? So just think of 10. Fast forward in your mind 3 to 5 years. Now the company's in 30 markets, 40 markets. How much bigger is that sharing that 1% check going to be? And by the way, you don't have to go to that country and claim your stake. Once you hit that level, you get paid automatically. You don't have to have a team out there to get paid like other companies make you do, okay? And then when you hit the 8th level, now you're sharing in 2% of worldwide revenues. Just give you a hint, that check is a lot bigger than the first one, okay? Because there's less people in the pool. Now where Donna is, I mentioned, earlier when I was introducing her, she's an Elite Pro 9, and she is sharing in 3% of worldwide revenues. Now that check is a lot bigger than those first two, couple of times more. And then lastly is when you hit the master rank, the 10 rank, you're sharing in 4% of worldwide revenues. And I've been saying revenues the whole time. I didn't say profits. It's an incredible way to get paid. And I personally think that should be each and every one of you that's watching this webinar right now, that should be your first goal. Because when you start to understand this business model, always remember this: you cannot get what you want until you help enough people get what they want. The person that invited you to this webinar, they're not trying to suck blood from your jugular and want you to enroll so they can make all this money off of you. They don't make any unless you make money. That's all businesses should be structured that way. Unfortunately, it's not. So I want you to be thinking about that. So get with the person that invited you and thank them, because they thought enough of you. But right now, we personally only look for a small subset of individuals that have credibility, that have integrity, that have a large circle of influence, that knows how to build a business. Because we have the dubious distinction of pioneering this new paradigm in health called nutrigenomics. And in my opinion, the next 3 to 5 years, every household in this country is going to know what it is. And like Donna said earlier, unfortunately, it's not coming from health advocates like us or people from this company. Unfortunately, it will be coming from the pharmaceutical world. As she mentioned, they're working feverishly, coming up with synthetic versions. Okay, those are drugs. By the way, they wreak havoc on your organs, and there's all kinds of side effects. As Donna said, it's like asking a doctor if you can eat salad. It's 5 plants, folks. There's no drug-on-drug interactions. So with that said, if you're looking for a side hustle, if you're looking, to, something as simple as pay off credit card debt, but the vehicle that you're currently in right now that's paying you, there's just not enough at the end of the month. And you're just, paying the minimum. And the interest is just swallowing you slowly but surely every month, right? Or what if you just want to buy a new car, okay? You just want an extra $400 or $500 a month because, again, the vehicle that's paying you, you can't afford that right now. Take a look at this, all right? Or if you think bigger, like Donna, she wanted to get out of that murder and mayhem, as she mentioned. It was stressing her out, and she went through 3 bouts of breast cancer. Think about that. So there's all kinds of reasons why a business like this would be the right list of ingredients for you. I mean, you could have been retired for the last couple of years and you're just bored to death. You want to be around with a bunch of incredible people that really understand how important their health is. Come on board. We want you. Okay. So with that said, Donna, thank you so much for being on tonight. I know we have a good time together when we get together. It's just so much fun.
Always fun. Thank you, Gabe. I appreciate it. And I hope everybody gets a chance to try the products at the very least, because they're fantastic.
Absolutely. I mean, these are products that you need to start buying for everyone that you love and care for, and be a great Christmas gift, okay? Great birthday gift, or just a gift in general, but more importantly, get on them yourself. Do your research. Really understand why we're so excited with this. We will be back next Monday night. I know I can't believe it, next week. will be the week that we're heading to Anaheim for one of our quarterly conventions called the Lead Academy. I'm really excited for that. But we will be here next Monday night, the same meeting ID number. So share this with all the friends that you want. Thank you so much for being on tonight's webinar. Thank you, Donna, for being on with us tonight. And this is Gabe Pearson. We'll see you next Monday. Good night, everyone.
Good night.